It's very important for you to run a background check on any man you're dating, be it a man you found online or offline. Have you ever been on a dating app or a dating site? What was your experience like? Good? Bad?
Oh, I'm just swiping on Tinder, find a cute guy, but then I realize he's loving, caring, handsome, wants to meet the right girl. He's a Leo, and he's also wanted for stalking.
The world drastically moved from the conventional ways of meeting people to online dating during lockdown. Online dating has got its pros and cons, so does the traditional ways of meeting people. However, the online dating cons does outweigh the pros based on people's experiences and shared stories on social media.
Online dating is wild. All right, this guy, Aaron, 38, says, picture this, we're on a date. I take you to a generic restaurant of your choosing. Then we go out for a drink. Okay, seems kind of nice. After a few, I'm a bit tipsy, so we head back to my car. Car's on fire. Why, Aaron? You're shocked and ready to call 911 as one should and does. You look back at me. I have 2 marshmallows on a stick. Where'd you get the marshmallows, Aaron? Ready for roasting and more alcohol. Did you start the fire? You blush. We cuddle together. Where are we cuddling, sir? While my blazing car keeps us warm, are we inside the car? Are you roasting us? Are we being cremated? Are you an undertaker? We joke. What is there to joke about? We laugh. You're about to lean in for a kiss. Am I? Because I feel like I'm running away from you. I chloroform you and rob you. Wasn't even my car on fire. I want to know that there are so many questions. Like, are y'all still online dating? Because what is this?
Very important for you to know the man you're dating before inviting him to your bed. I really don't understand how people meet strangers and have sex with them. I know to some people it's their work, the hookup work and all that, and I'm not in any way talking down on the business, but it's something that baffles me. People that really want to date someone, they meet them online, the next minute the man is in your bed and you guys are making out. Like, I don't get it. Are you guys not scared of so many things? That man can be anything.
Ladies, this is important, okay? If you've been dating a guy for a couple months or, a few years or whatever, y'all in a serious, committed relationship, make sure you get a background check on that man. Court don't lie. Papers don't lie. Get a background check. A lot of these men don't have nothing to lose but their goddamn mind.
Let me tell you why running a background check on the person that you're dating or getting to know is important. And I'm not talking about, who is his ex? I'm talking about, are they single and are they who they say they are? This is especially true if you're meeting people from Tinder or Hinge or anywhere not in real life. Back when I was 19, I met someone from a dating app who said that he was 26. Already a big age difference, doesn't matter. We meet up for a coffee date in the middle of the day and some things are just not lining up with his story. And I start looking at his face and I see crow's feet and sunspot. And I'm like, this man is not 26. So I go through heaven and hell to find out who this man really is. Keep in mind, he was a PhD candidate at the school that I went to at the time. So he's supposed to be legit. Can't find anything on him. So I get a picture of him from the school and I send it to a friend who has a friend who works for the government. And they find the guy. Turns out he was actually 36. I'm grateful I was never in a dangerous situation, but I'm sure that something like this has happened to a lot of other girls and they weren't so lucky. So yeah, run the background check, stalk the Instagram if you have to. Make sure they have an Instagram. Make sure they have some sort of public persona. Be safe.
Ladies, the first 2 things you want to do when you start dating a man, especially if you have kids, is 1, get a background check. Because let's just face it, we're in a generation now of a whole bunch of sick individuals, and the last thing you ever want to do is put your kids in danger. And 2, you want to make sure that this man has no domestic violence charges. The last thing you want to do is have some woman beater in your house. And another thing you want to do is you want to check his credit. Because at the end of the day, if you plan to build a future with this man and y'all try to get a house and he can't get approved for a Home Depot card, yeah, that man gotta go. Stay woke, ladies.
Dating a total stranger can be scary. That man can be anything. He could be a serial killer, a kidnapper, a thief, a robber, an assassin. The list goes on. Who knows? You could have been his next target and he came for you. So you have to be careful out there. I have heard horror stories of women meeting up with men they met on dating sites and they got chopped up.
This is why you need to be careful with dating apps. On November 15th, 2017, 24-year-old Sydney Louv decided to meet Bailey Boswell in person after speaking on Tinder for a few days. For their first date, Bailey invited Sydney to come over to her apartment that she shared with her boyfriend Aubrey Trail. 24 minutes after Sydney arrived to the apartment, her phone was turned off and Bailey and her boyfriend Aubrey murdered her and chopped her body into 13 pieces using a saw. This attack was planned by the couple for a while, and there's even surveillance footage of them going into Home Depot and buying the saw and cleaning supplies. They then scattered Sydney's remains along the roads in Clay County, Nebraska, and it was found 3 weeks later. Investigators later found out that the couple talked about gaining power by committing murders and making videos of them torturing people. At the end of it, Bailey was sentenced to life in prison and Aubrey was sentenced to death.
Story that's probably gonna make you never want to get on a dating app again. So I used to work in a bar, and this girl would come in the bar. She was one of the bartender's really good friends, and she came in one day and she was like, "Shay, do I have a story to tell you? You are not gonna freaking believe it." And I'm like, "What? What is it? Give me the tea." I forget her friend's name, so we're gonna call her Martha, and I wouldn't put her name out there anyway. But Martha is one of her friends, and she was having really bad dating luck. And then one day she decided to go on Tinder for the last time. She was like, "I'm pretty much done with dating for now, but I'm just gonna get on this app and I'm gonna go on this date with this one last guy." So she goes to dinner with this guy. Dude's really weird. She's not feeling it. But he's definitely feeling it. It's the first time that I'm using this, so bear with me here. I'm not really sure where to put it. So he asks her to go out and get some drinks with him, and she's like, "No, I'm just gonna go back to my parents' house tonight and just chill and hang inside. Thank you for the invite, though." Oh boy. So he's like, "All right, no worries." So she goes home to her parents' house. Now, mind you, her parents' house is like sort of in the middle of nowhere, and her parents are out of town. Also, she tells this guy her parents are out of town for whatever fucking reason. So anyway, she's chilling, hanging out at the house, and then she hears a weird noise, but she doesn't hear it again, so she goes on about her night. Next morning, she goes out to run some errands, and she comes back and she starts hearing the noise again. This time, she's completely freaked out and she calls the cops. She tells the operator what's going on, and the operator's like, The operator tries to keep her calm, having conversation with her, but the whole time the operator knows that the phone lines are being tapped. Also, important part, the operator doesn't tell Martha that the cops are coming because, again, she knows the phone lines are being tapped. She just talks to her to keep her calm, just like asking questions about what's going on and stuff. When the operator gets word that the cops are there, she says, "Martha, walk outside real quick, look to your left and look to your right, and tell me what you see." She said, "I don't see anything." And she goes, "Run for the gate now." Martha runs for the gate, and the cops are there. The cops go inside, and you'll never fucking believe what was in the basement. The man she went on a date with was building a cage in the basement. Anyways, you guys stay safe out there on those dating apps.
People are getting chopped up. People are getting unalived. That was a very scary story. You have to be careful. Although the second story sounds more like a movie, but let me tell you, most of those movies we see, some of them are fictional, while some of them are real life stories. You know what I mean? So you have to be careful out there, honestly. You really cannot tell the heart of men, both women. But you know, on this channel, we talk about what men do to women. So you have to be careful. It's worse for you to meet someone on dating app, you don't know the person, and you're bringing the person into your space, or even moving into the person's space, and you're getting intimate with the person. Do you even think about the possibility of the person having disease, the possibility of the person infecting you? You know, people can get infection from kissing as well. You know that? A lot of things can go wrong when you're dealing with a stranger. You don't know the person's medical history. You don't know the person's life history. You don't know what the person has been up to. You don't know if the person is on the run. Like, there's a whole lot of things that can go wrong when you're dealing with a stranger. So you have to think about all these things before getting comfortable with a stranger. Even someone you've been dating for a long time, you can't even know everything about the person. It takes time. Talk more of a stranger you just met and you're getting comfortable with the person, especially someone you met on dating app. You don't even know who the person knows. You don't know who the person is connected with. You have no idea. It's very different if you met someone in your church or at your workplace. You might not know everything, but at least you might know someone that knows the person. Do you get? So I'm just trying to let you know how risky it is dealing with people you meet on dating app and getting comfortable with a total stranger so early.
Let me tell you about the scariest dating experience I've ever had. So when I was in my 20s, I was single forever. So I decided to get on this dating app. I think it was like blackpeoplemeet.com. Anybody remember that? So I'm on this app and I'm talking to this guy. I lived in Richmond, Virginia, and he lived in like Indiana. So it wasn't too far away, but it was like we had like maybe a 2-hour distance between us. And so we decided we're going to meet up and we're going to meet halfway. Now, unfortunately, I did not check the weather before I left. And as I'm driving halfway, it's a snowstorm. And by this time, it was like I was too far away to like try to drive back home. And then I was like, I'm not going to his place. And so he said, well, let's just meet up and I'll come to you. And so I'm like, okay. And so we're meeting up, we have dinner, and then it's snowing like crazy. And I'm realizing, how am I going to get home? And so he's like, well, let's just get a hotel for the night or whatever. And I'm like, dude, I'm not sleeping with you, but we can get a hotel because like we just got to get 2 beds. So we get a hotel, we get 2 beds, all the things. And I'm in my bed, we're watching TV and whatever. Go to sleep, wake up, and here he is on me on my bed. And so like, listen, I'm a strategic thinker today, but I was strategic thinking back then too. And I had this thought in my head, oh, say something that makes him like not want to touch you. This is kind of crazy. And I said, you might want to stop because I have something to tell you. And so he stops and he's like, what? And I was like, well, I'm not going to tell you until we leave because I don't want you to be upset, but you might want to stop. And so I can tell he's like nervous about like what's going on. Does she have AIDS? What's going on? He's like freaking out. And me, I'm like, I just need to get out of this hotel room. Now, I did have something to tell him that he did not know, which, yeah. So then when we get to the gas station, he says, so what is it? What do you have to tell me? And I said, well, I'm a virgin. And he was like, what? I was like, I'm a virgin, so that's why I couldn't mess with you last night. And he was like, wait a minute, I thought you had AIDS. And then I said to him, I was like, well, I knew I needed to tell you that so you would get off of me because otherwise you would have done, I don't know, whatever. And I never spoke to him ever again.
That was very risky. Why the hell would you share a bed with a man that you don't even know? I know fine, she said she's been chatting with this man for a while. I think so, from her story. But that was the first time they were meeting up. And you knew you didn't want to have sex with a man, which I'm against. Don't have sex with someone you don't know. Do you get? She knew that, but she decided to get a room that has 2 beds. What was she thinking? That the fact that they have 2 separate beds is going to prevent the man from doing what he wants to do to her. That was a very risky situation. The fact that you guys have a room in the hotel does not mean that the man cannot do what he wants to do to you. I've heard stories, I've read stories of people getting unalive in hotels, hotel rooms. Yeah, it was a risky move for her to have decided to be in the same space with a man. It could be she didn't have enough money on her. Like she said, she did not check the weather. So in her mind, it could be she just wanted to meet up with a man. I don't know. I'm just making excuses for her, but I don't know what she was thinking. Or maybe if he has his own bed and I have my own bed in the same room, or maybe that might stop him from wanting to grape me or do whatever he wants to do to me. Please, you guys should think right. And she said she was 19. I guess she knows better now.
You should do a background check and a deep social media dive on a man before you date him and take him serious. I'm about to give y'all some websites that y'all can use to do this. So the first one is benverified.com. I have used this site before and they charge you like $1 for a week's trial. You get a minimum of searches per day. I forgot how much that minimum is, but it's legit. It works well. The second one is truthfinder.com. They do give you a free trial, but I forgot how long the free trial lasts and I forgot how much they charge you or if they charge you at all because I haven't used this site in a minute. They also do give you a minimum of searches per day. I forgot that minimum as well. The 2 websites that I mentioned prior are used to do background checks, but I'm about to give y'all another website that you can use to do a reverse image search for social media. The website that you can use to do a reverse image search is facecheck.id. So you would type in facecheck.id and what's going to pop up is something that's going to ask you to add a picture. You add the picture of the person whose social media that you're trying to find and just scroll through there and you'll find what you're looking for. I don't think there's a minimum of how many times you can use this per day, but the server does act up sometime because a lot of people do use this site. And by the way, this website is free to use. I also need to state this. Just because someone's background is clean does not mean that they have not done some heinous things without being caught. Just keep that in mind. I'm not dating. I would recommend y'all not to date, but I can't tell y'all what to do. Just be safe out there. Protect yourself because women are not safe in this world. And I'm going to just say that. You should do a background check and a deep social media dive on a man before you date him and take him serious.
What she said.
Exactly what she said. Now, I have no idea about the sites that she suggested, but here are the 3 that I use, no matter what. The clerk of court's website, in whatever county you reside, or wherever county that person resides, or wherever they have ever resided, you can do that. Also, the Department of Corrections, if they've ever served any time in prison. It's all public access. It takes about 5 minutes to look it up. And the last one is the Sexual Offender Registry List. I can't stress this enough, especially if you have kids. Please do it, okay? I have become known as the friend that will do a deep dive into anybody's background. Baby, I can find addresses, last known addresses, social security numbers, birthdays, everything. Do your research.
It's very important for you to do a research, a total research on the person you've decided to date or marry. Yeah, it's very, very important. And I know she spoke about, oh, the person needs to be on social media. Not everyone is on social media. That's the truth. Some guys are so busy with their life that they don't have time for social media. Especially those men that are in their late 30s, in their 40s. Those people that are into some certain type of work, contracts, or you work. A lot of them don't have time for social media. So that might not really work for everybody to get, but still go out there and do the necessary research and make sure you know the person you are dating or you're about to date. Don't just jump into the relationship because the person looks good and all that, or he ticks all the boxes. Do thorough research. People can lie. People can act to be what they are not. Be careful.
Whether you're a journalist trying to get some more information on someone or doing your due diligence before that first Hinge or Bumble date, it's always good to know exactly who you're talking to. I'm Andy Judson. I'm an investigative reporter, and I just wrapped up a 2-year investigation. And throughout it, I use these 5 different ways to do a background check on someone in 5 minutes or less. Number 1, head to your county's Superior Court website and use their public case access system. Sometimes this does cost $1 or $2, but you can look up people through the different divisions of court. I'd recommend criminal court to see if there's any past felonies or other charges. For civil court, you can look up and see if someone has past harassment charges, debt collections, divorce filings, or child custody cases.
Part 2 of how to do a background check on someone in 5 minutes or less. Google comes in handy in a number of different ways to find and verify someone, starting with a reverse Google image search. Simply click images in the top right corner and drag in a photo. As you can see, I'm using my work photo here, and immediately links all of the different websites that photo is used on and takes you directly there so you can verify it yourself. Also, on an unrelated note, if you like someone's outfit, you can drag in a photo and similar items will come up. Another way Google comes in handy is by simply searching someone. Now, we all know how to Google someone, and I just Googled myself so you can see the results that come up. But here's the trick. Google someone's name as well as keywords in and outside of quotations. You can see I did this with Andy Judson Reporter, and it brings up a completely different set of results than that first Google. You can also use different keywords like city and state they live in, as well as mugshot, to see what the results pull up for those. Part 3 of how to do a background check on someone in 5 minutes or less. If you're looking to see if someone is in jail or has spent time behind bars recently, this is a pretty quick and easy way to background check someone. Most counties' jails have websites where you can look up inmates by name and pull up their whole track record of why they're in jail and when they got there, and also who's visited them. Another simple way to background check someone is to look them up on sex offender websites. In California, we use the Megan's Law website, which mandates the public be notified about registered sex offenders, and you can simply look someone up on the meganslaw.ca.gov website. Finally, if the person you're looking into has a profession that has to have a license, like an attorney, doctor, or nurse, you can look up the license through the state agency that gave it to them, and there's usually a section for disciplinary action to see if they've gotten into any trouble. Now, I used all of these background check tips for an investigation I worked on for 2 years called The Price of Care Taken by the State. You can watch it on abc10.com right now. I'll also be uploading other investigative reporter tips and tricks, so make sure to give me a follow at Andy Investigates.
Thank you so much for watching. If you would love to know more about what some men do on dating sites, watch this video here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for your support. Bye-bye.